Hello, welcome to another episode of the Gotta Look Up podcast. Today, I want to talk about personal relationships and theory I have around concentric circles of personal relationships. So, been lately pondering the breadth and depth of certain relationships in my life and tried to impose some logic on why certain people are always there for us, while others seem to be happy with what I call a drive-by relationship. We all have them. Those people who see us once in a while and would like to spend more time with, but they just never seem to be available unless they need something or want something from you, in which case then they are. On the other side of the spectrum, though, are people referred to as ride or die or BFF relationships. This is usually a very close social circle of great trusted friends, usually just a handful, though. We also have those people in our lives that are very important, but live a distance away, so we don't get to interact with them as much or invest time with them. But at the minute we're back together, it's like time never passed because there's such a comfort level, trust, and common bond. We just pick up right where we left off with them. In looking at this concept of social circles, I began to think more in depth about my personal relationships and how to define the concentric circles or spheres of relationships that we have in our lives. As we may or may not remember from middle school or high school math, a concentric circle is defined as two or more circles with a common center. Think of a target. Each concentric circle will have a different radius, but the same center point, which is also called a midpoint. So from the center, we go out in concentric circles. You can think of that slow motion video that a lot of us have seen where somebody in a calm surface just puts a drop of water in there, and that's the center point. And then from that, this ripple grows out. Those are concentric circles. Ever growing, ever expanding. But again, the focal point is that middle point, and that center point is you and me. The first and most important relationship you need to invest in is the one with yourself. Concentric circles of self are your soul, your heart, your mind, your body. How we invest in taking care of these core components is the priority. That's the most important relationship. We cannot have concentric circles of other relationships without first establishing and strengthening the center of every relationship, which is ourselves. Like I said to open things up today, I have long believed that we go about our lives forming concentric circles of relationships. We establish circles of relationships based on their importance and closeness to us. Each of these concentric circles contains relationships with people based on their importance in our lives now and over time. We then invest our limited time and resources appropriately to preserve the most important relationships, grow them, or let them go altogether. Based on life stage and circumstances, we move people either closer to the center circle or move them to the outer edges of our relationship universe. After some consideration, I created the following list of circles or spheres. I may decide to add more as time passes, but for now, I think this is a pretty good list to get started in how we define this. First is a center point. That's you. That's your soul, your heart, your mind, your physical being. Then the next inner circle is circle one, or what I call the inner circle, which is family, children, best friends. So friends that you kind of consider family. And then circle two is what I call a circle of trust. That's extended family, close friends that are like family. And then we move to circle three. These are familiar acquaintances. These could be coworkers, business partners, neighbors, spiritual leaders, teammates. Circle four is random acquaintances. So these are people we met and may continue to see or meet. So this could be the grocery store clerk, the bank teller, the barista at the coffee shop. Those folks that we like interacting with, but they're really not in that close circle of friends yet. And then circle five is people we have let go but may let back in. So we talked earlier about, there's people with distance, but when they come and you're actually in your circle, physical circle, you pick up where you left off. So these are people who are once important part of our lives, but we've lost touch. These could be Facebook friends. These could be LinkedIn business connections. So you drift apart, but when you come back together, it's always a good time. Circle six are what I call targeted strangers. These are people we don't know yet, but we'd like to. So this could be your crush that you see once in a while. These could be mentors. These could be hiring managers that you're targeting to get a new job. Circle seven is strangers. So this is sort of the universe of everybody else that we don't know, but may come in contact with sometime in the future. And then circle 7 are the unwelcome. These are people we've met but don't ever want to interact with again, or these are people that we never want to meet. So I think we all have our own personal list of who that would be. We tend to move people in and out of these spheres based on both an individual and mutual willingness to invest in the relationship. For example, a new acquaintance can move from random to close friend to inner circle over time if our concentric circles match up with theirs and the relationship evolves in a mutually beneficial and positive way. The beauty of our lives is that we get to determine who gets close to us and where they fit in the concentric circles or spheres of our life. And while some may try to improve their position in our concentric sphere or circle, we ultimately determine where they belong in our lives and what importance to give that relationship. It is also important to remember that we cannot choose where we fit into anyone's concentric circles. While we may want to have a closer relationship with somebody we love or want to spend more time with, they have a say in it as well based on their life stage, their situation, what's important to them, and where they prioritize their life and time investment. This shouldn't be taken personally or as a rejection necessarily, but just reality in terms of how people prioritize their lives and what time they're willing to make to invest in their relationship. Everyone has life priorities and limited time. This also doesn't mean we should give up on improving our relationship with someone who is important to us. We can still invite them to a closer circle, but we shouldn't do so with any specific expectation or do so in a way that is obsessive or unhealthy for both parties. So think for a minute about your relationships. How do you define your concentric circles? Who falls into what sphere? Is anyone in a specific circle that you would like to invite to come closer? Is there someone in a closer circle that should be let go? It is an interesting way to look at things and can bring clarity to your life in terms of where you prioritize invest your limited, precious resource of time. How does this apply to my Gotta Look Up mission? Well, it's an opportunity to get off your devices and invest some time with the important people in your concentric circles to strengthen those relationships. Reach out and contact some friends that you haven't engaged with in some time to plan to meet for coffee or a meal or just get together and have some fun. Some quotes on relationships, friends, concentric circles. This is from Steve Irwin, the great Steve Irwin. Crocodiles are easy. They try to eat you. People are harder. Sometimes they pretend to be your friend first. From Tim Cahill, a journey is best measured in friends rather than in miles. From Helen Keller, so long as the memory of certain beloved friends lives in my heart, I shall live a life that is good. This is from Epicurus. Of all the means which wisdom requires to ensure happiness throughout the whole of life, by far the most important is friendship. And from an unknown source, friends are God's way of taking care of us. So a couple Thomisms to throw at you here. It's better to share your life with someone than to spend your life with someone. And I know I used this before, but I can't say it enough. The internet can't hug you back. Look around. Who's important to you? Who haven't you spoken to in a while? Get off your devices and start working on expanding your concentric circles. Gotta look up. Thank you for joining us today on the Gotta Look Up podcast. Your support means everything to us. If our message today resonated with you, please share it with family and friends who would also be interested or might benefit from hearing this message. Also, please take a minute to subscribe to this podcast and our YouTube channel. As always, please drop us a line if you have comments to share or would like to suggest a future topic for discussion. If you're interested in collaborating or partnering with Gotta Look Up, please contact us with your name, your organization, and contact information so we can get in touch. Now, get off your screens, get outside, and make someone smile today. Gotta look up.